Welcome to drivenmavens.com. My name is Arvind Ramkrishna, and we are going to talk about the fundamental principles of shading, the 1-2-3 method. So we're going to start off with our light source coming from the top left-hand side diagonally, and we're going to start painting this cube. This is going to be a white cube, and one of the things that you need to understand about the 1-2-3 method is that the value distribution for a cube, once you project lighting onto the surface, will distribute the light in 3 different shades on all the sides of the cube. Now, for this example, all you're going to see are the 3 side facings. You're going to see the top, you're going to see the left-hand side, and the right-hand side. So I'm going to paint the top of the cube here just white, because that's going to be the actual color of the cube. Now, on the darkest side of the cube, we have to go with a much darker value. And the question comes into play as to what is that value going to be. Now, I've gone with about 50% gray here on this example. Now, some of this stuff, if you want to really understand how to do this, I've gone into the process of actually taking a cube, constructing a cube in real life, and then lighting it up. And then once I light it, when you light it up, then you can sort of gauge, what kind of value that you're going to be getting off of the cube on each one of these sides. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to block this color in here. Now on the left hand side, when I start to paint the left hand side, obviously the value can't be as dark as I have on this right hand side, which is where the shadow is going to occur, because we've got the light coming from the top left hand side, and that's going to project a shadow. Now I'm not going to get into the shadow portion of it. That's probably going to be addressed in another video here, but we want to keep things a little bit simple so that you can gradually break into understanding how you create form, even for something as simple as a box. When you have a white box, obviously you cannot have all sides of these boxes having white. When you have light that's casted onto the object, it's going to have different shades, and what we're trying to determine here on this simple example is how do you distribute those shades? How do you kind of figure out what those values, properties are supposed to be per side of that cube? And this is important because when you get into drawing more complex shapes, you're really going to be leveraging these basic principles. We're going to speed it up here. Now I'm going to start with even a darker tone of gray, which means that this is the base color of the cube. Dial that in, just color it into the right up to the lines there. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take a nice dark value of gray, which is going to be darker than the previous example here. There we go. And these exercises are really important because sometimes you're not really going to get it. This is one of those things that, well, I don't know if you've ever watched a video. You watch a video and everything looks very simple, and for some reason you think that you've memorized it. Everything is in your head, and like, yeah, that sounds pretty simple, sounds easy enough. And then when you try it, you're like, wow, this didn't work at all. That's why practicing and taking action and completing the lesson in itself is going to be good, because it solidifies your understanding, or maybe even lack of understanding. So if you don't quite understand it and you keep repeating the process, then sometimes it's just going to click, especially if you watch my video. So the second example is just wrapping up, and what I would encourage you to do is to practice several of these exercises. You don't have to just do it. Once you're comfortable with gray, start using different colors. Start looking at different hues. Look at the reds. Look at the purples. Look at blues and greens and so on. So this one's done, and this is what it looked like when I did a red. Now I've got a yellow here, or orangish yellow, mustard color, and then we've got the a light purple, and then we've got the blue. Looks like my red is a little bit off here. I actually did this exercise on another computer, so just depending on how the screens are calibrated, some things may be a little bit off versus the other. Same with the blue. There seems to be some artifacts there. I don't know what's going on there, but at the end of it, I think you get the gist what's being done here. Just make sure that as you go through these exercises, you do have a 1, 2, 3 level of shading. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you next time on drivenmavens.com. Have a good one.